You can enforce your ego or you can enforce the law. You can't do both at once. We're about to dive into a video that features a police encounter with an Officer Belcher of the Paris, Texas Police Department. An encounter between Officer Belcher and a citizen named Joey Carico. Now, some background for this encounter: that earlier, back in 2022, another officer and his partner responded to a call, the subject of which was Colton Carico, Joey Carico's son. The lead officer on this call was an Officer Bristow, and he was with his partner, and they found at a residence Colton Carico and his girlfriend. They were looking for Colton Carico. His girlfriend initially lied about the location of Mr. Carico, but eventually they found out that he was on the property. So officers wanted to speak to Mr. Carico, and he was hesitant to emerge from the residence. However, when he emerged from the residence, and this is part of the problem Mr. Carico created for himself, is that he emerged from the residence holding a rifle, which, if I were to give any advice to folks about dealing with police, don't approach them with a firearm. So he emerged from the residence with a rifle. He pointed the rifle at himself and threatened to shoot himself. He said, I'll shoot myself, included an expletive right here. Now, he didn't shoot himself, and when officers responded to him, he turned to go back into his residence. And here's how and why this shooting was questionable, despite the fact that Mr. Carico had a firearm, is that A, he pointed at himself and no one else, and B, the lead officer, Bristow, shot him in the back. So there were questions asked about that shooting. There was an investigation that determined that the officer did nothing wrong. Now, that finding has been contested by a number of folks. Mr. Carico was paralyzed as a result. Now, there is a civil suit pending regarding Mr. Carico's paralyzation. So the video we are about to see has occurred sometime later, after Colton Carico's father, Joey, I wonder how loud my footsteps are in this recording. Colton Carico's father, Joey, had yelled some things at police, at the police station and the police inside. He'd also taken to giving police officers the finger because he was angry that they paralyzed his son, shot him in the back. So the video you're about to see features Officer Belcher, who had turned around after getting the finger from Joey Carico, followed him to a parking lot and confronted him. Now, when you watch this video, there are some questions I think we need to keep in mind, and some observations. In fact, let's say observations. We, as a society, are challenged to decide to what standard are we going to hold police officers. And what we see here in this video, and you might agree with me, I'm going to assert we should hold police officers to a standard higher than the behavior you're about to see, not lower. And I'm going to make a further case in this video and in a future video that we as a society and as thinking people, one of the things we need to consider and actually put in motion, is programs by which we evaluate police officers psychologically, psychiatrically, and study the psychology of officers, in particular officers who commit acts like the one you're about to see, but also even more heinous acts like one I'm going to cover in a future video. If we can understand the traits, the behavioral tendencies, psychological processes of officers who behave in this way, it can aid us in multiple ways, including selection. And there are some changes to selection of police officers that some cities have made, including Ithaca, New York. It's another future video coming up. So in selection and also in how we would continue to monitor the behavior and the well-being of some officers. And I say quite purposefully also the well-being of police officers for two reasons, at least. One is, here at Street Tactical Psychology, we support police. That is, we support best practices in policing. And we also know that a psychologically healthy police officer is good for the community and less likely to be a threat. Our communities need police. Our communities need police who enforce the law, not their egos, and who keep our communities safe. Our recommendation to that end here at Street Tactical Psychology is that Officer Belcher be fired, be charged criminally, and be fully psychologically and psychiatrically evaluated so that we can learn from him what we need to learn. And we'll figure that out as we learn more, gaining knowledge one mind at a time. That's our recommendation. Thanks for watching. More videos to come on this similar subject of police, understanding the psychology of police, studying the psychology of police in an effort to make everyone more safe. And now I'm going to do some pull-ups. Yeah, right now. So remember, till next time, your mind is your own. Never forget.